I remember years ago, I wrote down in my notes to my manager, it was a shared document, that I wanted to make 6 figures one day. Now this got added to the document and years passed, and that document got inherited by new managers. So at first I thought nothing of it, but then with these new managers, for some reason they found that note and they just couldn't give up on it. But they weren't telling me, yeah, you can do it, yeah, it's possible. It was almost always like discouraging. It was more like, Will, I don't think we could ever supply that at this company. Will, I don't think that's possible. Will, are you really, you're reading all these books, are you really applying what you learn? Maybe you can make that happen somewhere else. And it was just kind of flabbergasting for me because, yes, I understood that this was a far off goal, but it wasn't like I was bringing it up like we need to get here. This was something literally I wrote down years ago, and then they somehow found it in my notes and seemed to be like, okay, this is what he's trying to get from me. And somehow they anchored to that number. So what's the learning lesson here? Because I think it just ended up being a situation where there was, just not a lot of company alignment. And I ended up parting from that company, but it wasn't purely because they couldn't make that number happen. But it was one of many things where it was just like, okay, that was really random. I'm totally fine if you can't pay that right now. That's just a aspirational goal for me to hit one day. And rather for them to set like some type of game plan for me to develop the skills and maybe leave to another company to get that and help me grow, they were just like, yeah, I don't see how that can happen. That's not going to happen here. Like, we're so far off. And I just found that kind of strange because it wasn't like I was hammering home like I needed to hit that number immediately or soon. And I understood that at the time I was making a small fraction of that because I was more of like an entry level marketer at the time. So learning lessons, I mean, there's potentially a few takeaways here. One is that, hey, don't tell your managers your salary goals, because depending on the company culture, that can just discourage them or make them feel like